All right. Go!
Neutral button. No warrior now.
This Parks.
Microphone check 1, 2. What is this?
Neutral button. No warrior now.
Parks on the boards.
Yes. In our absence, the M Snoop stuff has really heated up.
Oh yes, I've been paying close attention to that one. I have. I watched. Benzino was on Queen's Flip.
Oh.
With Flip and G Money.
Okay.
So I watched. I watched a lot of that. Listen, man, Benzino made a lot of valid points. He made a lot of valid. And I know Benzino's not the guy that people in the culture rush to and listen to.
You can lose Royce's number.
No, I'm just saying he made a lot of valid points. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things.
Such as?
You can't come to the next Slaughterhouse video.
He was saying how Eminem was
You can't either.
Good
right.
point. Good point, Roy.
He was saying how he just noticed early that Eminem was somebody that they put into the culture to kind of do the same thing that Elvis did with rock and roll. And he saw that.
That's a similar stance that David Mays had on the Chitty Chatty House last night.
That's
with Royce.
excessive.
No, but he was saying because, you know, if it's just about lyrics and lyrical ability, then why isn't, you know, cannabis held at the same regard?
He didn't make good music.
Fam.
And his thing is Eminem didn't make good music either.
Buckingham Palace wasn't Lose Yourself.
Yeah, but these are
That's why.
What Benzino was saying was
I'm not just gonna put shit on people because they white.
And say
Like-
no. That's not. It's not even about a white thing. He was more so saying the content isn't what people run to hear. Like we don't come from that. We don't understand that. We don't understand what it's like to want to kill your mom and kill your baby mother. And
But that wasn't every song.
no, it wasn't every song. But he was saying he gave him props. He said, "Yo, he can rap. He can put words together really well." And he had certain songs that we like, but you don't go back and play that shit. You don't listen to it. Eminem music doesn't play anywhere.
That's
Unless
not true.
Where does it play? I've been to West Side Gun shows and all of these. I don't want to say underground, but these underground type of artists.
Yeah.
Where in between sets, you would think that type of hip hop would be playing. They don't play that
You're
there.
not playing the Eminem.
Eminem music plays
Where?
It plays.
somewhere.
Y'all can't. No. We're not doing that in 2021.
Clearly
Where
it
have
does
you
because
heard
it goes
somebody playing
platinum every
Eminem's
time.
music?
Not where I
Yeah,
frequent.
yes, Rory. I
Where?
know that we're it's hard to pick you up all the time, Rory, but he sells platinum every single time he drops. It plays somewhere.
plays.
Where?
And when's the cutoff? Because that Rihanna record, the Uptempo and the Frequency did, I heard every fucking store I went into for 4 years.
I still
that
hear
song.
the shit. Y'all act like you never seen a white person before. Jaws all to the floor like a panther. Whatever
Where?
that one was. I say that when I used to be out.
Yeah, when
like,
you go to
in like the store. I'm talking about
Yeah.
corporate shit. I'm not talking about in somebody's car or somebody's house. But there are places where this plays. When I spent time in Detroit, shit, our last show in Detroit, our podcast show, I heard a bunch of people playing Eminem. Like there are people that play it. But I understand what you and some other people have said about like.
Yes, people play
I
because
get it.
Eminem is
It's big business. It's big business.
I understand that, but to what Benzino was saying, it was valid. It was like, bro, we championed something, and it was like, but when you really look at it, there are a lot of artists from our culture that make the same type of rap, but we don't ever speak about.
Like who?
I mean, if Cannabis is one.
But
No,
he didn't
he
make
ain't.
good music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
to
y'all
you-
will not start
you,
my.
he
I'm
didn't.
actually.
Hey, we
Wait,
will
time out.
not start my 2021 with a cannabis argument.
No, it's not
So
an argument.
y'all wrap this shit up.
It's not.
and
No.
I'm gonna quarterback
It's not an
this.
argument. It's not an argument. But there is validity to that.
I
though.
liked some Cannabis songs, but in general, he did not make as good a music as Eminem.
I
Production-wise,
agree.
songwriting-wise.
I agree, but I think what Benzino was saying, where there are a lot of artists in our culture that are just as lyrical that people don't pay any attention to.
Mark, I ask you a
Why
quick
is
question. You and Benzino?
Excuse me?
Eminem made the song White America. He's admitted this. He knows this. He knows that because he's white, he's become a fucking huge pop star. He's addressed it. He's aware of it. He came into the culture not to take it and say, hey, I'm the biggest. I stole everyone's songs the way Elvis did. He came in with a genuine love for hip hop. He just happened to be a blonde-headed white kid that
Yeah,
a
I
bunch
don't-
of blonde-headed white kids could relate to, so they loved him.
But to me,
It's not his fault.
I just
but
want
that's-
to point out that I wanted to talk to y'all about M and Snoop, and somehow this has been a Benzino and Dave Mays talk.
No,
Well,
but this it
it's
all
just the
ties in.
points.
Yeah, it all ties into the because what Snoop said was he doesn't listen to that. He was like, yo, I don't listen to it. That's not the type of shit I listen to, and he's not in my top 10.
And I agree with that. I don't listen to Eminem on a particularly regular basis, but he does make quality music that it was popular. And he rapped at a high level, and every song was not about killing his mom and his daughter.
No, I'm not saying every song.
He had
was.
songs that were about real things.
Absolutely. I love Eminem. Let me just be clear on that. But I do understand how people that are in the culture can view him in that way.
Well, let's love him enough to keep this topic concise. Back to Snoop and Eminem.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
No, it's not.
It is.
Well, what transpired since our last conversation about Snoop?
Well, nobody gives a fuck if there's a M and Benzino beef.
It's
tomorrow.
not. It wasn't about beef
Or
though.
if there's a.
He was talking about his points. He
Yeah, it wasn't about-
Benzino.
it
We
wasn't
can take
about
the
beef.
names out of
Oh,
it.
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't
you're talking
about a
the points.
beef.
Got it.
He was just saying what he was saying back then is what everyone seems to be saying now.
Well, all Snoop was saying was, "You're not in my top 10, and quite frankly, if you put me on, if I had to do without your music, I could." Now, what M's stance is, hey, last time I seen you, everything was all good. Like, we was cool. Like, same camp, same clique, same, like, why am I getting this type of energy? I understand both sides.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean,
can
this is
understand
just
that.
the beef that I don't want to see progress.
Yeah, me either.
This is the beef I don't want to hear music from. But I get it.
Although Zeus was a dope record.
I heard M's response. I didn't really like it. We can play it.
Everything he said, by the way, was fine, like up to a point. You know, when he I've never said like him saying that I'm not in his top 10 because there's some rappers from the 90s that I can't fuck with. Him saying Dre made the best version of me, absolutely. Like, why would I have a problem with that?
No,
Would I be here without Dre? Fuck no.
No, Joe Budden.
The rappers he mentioned from the 90s, KRS-One, Big Eddie Kane, G-Rap, like I've never said I could fuck with them. I never said that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all, like, everything was good until, like, it was more like, I think it was more about the tone he was using that caught me off guard, because I'm like, yo,
Stop
where is
this.
this coming?
This is bothersome to me, listening to this clip. Ironically, because of tone. I don't like M's tone in expressing
That he doesn't like the tone.
this. Yeah,
You don't like his tone about the tone?
I didn't like his tone before he got to that part. You could hear it's not something that he really wanted to do. It's kind of the same way I felt when he was responding to me through them interviews and songs. Like, it didn't sound like that was something you wanted to do, but you just did it. It's like
As far as addressing it or
Yeah, like
addressing it in an interview?
addressing it existing, having to address it.
Okay.
The fact that all of this exists, it sounds like it's worrisome for him. That's how it sounds. And then he says it wasn't any of that, which means it was all of that. And he gets to, it was the tone. And that's where I just have a huge issue in hip hop and hip hop critiquing and culture critiquing or whatever the fuck you want to call it now. Are we tone policing?
I think you
Because
can
that's
when you're somebody you
because
you
that's
know, a
exactly
personal
what that
relationship with.
says.
Oh wait.
I'm not mad at that existing. You good, Roy?
Yeah, well, I was gonna respond, but go ahead because I know it's.
I'm
tough
not
to
mad
get
at
to it.
what you saying. As humans, instinctually, we would feel something if our friend or someone we were
Yeah.
closely affiliated with did that. Cool. When you say it publicly, it sounds like bullshit. Like him saying, "Yo, I don't have a problem with all the people you put ahead of me in your top 10 and you not listening to my shit." Like, that was cool. No, it wasn't.
Why do you say no? It wasn't.
Because he had a problem with it.
I don't think he had no problem with that.
Tone matters with my friends.
I think he did.
No, well, he said it.
I heard the tone part. I think that's a lazy scapegoat. I think it's true, but I also think it's a lazy scapegoat.
The reason why I believe what he's saying, because he did say, I never said I was better than any of those guys. And which is true. He never said that. So that's why I believe that part of him saying, like, I don't have a problem with you having these guys ahead of me. I never said I could fuck with
the
them.
big time niggas feel away when anybody says something about them. Let me start there. That's my premise. I'm
That's
starting
true.
with that.
It's just
So
weird.
it's added on when you know the person, when you got history with the person, and you in the same clique. But nothing is different here than when M felt a way about me. Like, I was saying, yo, this album, this rollout, I don't get it. The track list, I don't get it. And he had a huge issue with that.
No, you said more than that, though. Your tone was definitely all over the place. Your energy
Nigga,
was all over the
nobody's
place.
policing my tone in 2021.
Well, that was, this was
Yo, if
2020.
you niggas have a problem with my tone, I don't give a fuck.
This was
Y'all
2020,
don't
though.
have to like nothing
This
I
was
say. I'm not talking
2020.
about M.
This was 2020.
I know, I'm just talking about now.
Yeah.
But even then, like the tone police, I take a little issue with that, but I totally understand where M is coming from and why he felt the way. But I get Snoop too. But from a selfish consumer standpoint, this ain't the beef none of us want to see.
No, we don't.
Like y'all can talk
definitely
this
want to
out.
see this beef.
Now, I was in the Chitty Chatty house, and there were rumblings of why this maybe occurred. And I'll say it only because Daz Dillinger said it. Shout out to the OG. He was saying that one of the Snoop lines that M used in one of M's records, I don't remember what records they were, he had to clear, and Snoop cleared it. Y'all go ahead, it's home team. Y'all don't even worry about it. Y'all go ahead and use it. But then when it came time to return the favor and Snoop was looking for a verse from M, he had a hard time getting one. He was told no. Now, that's always tricky because you don't know if the request actually made it to the artist. Like, you don't know. You can't really prove if the artist is saying, no, I'm not rhyming with you. But if I'm Snoop, I don't give a fuck where it come from.
I find it hard to believe that a Snoop request wouldn't make its way to M directly.
Yeah,
No matter what
I'm
you
pretty
find
sure they
hard
have
to believe.
direct.
If you're Paul
contact with each other.
Rosenberg
That's
and
true.
you are protecting Eminem and you don't want this to get to Eminem, it cannot get to Eminem maybe.
Yeah.
There's a world where that exists.
That's true.
And if I'm Snoop, I don't care what happened there. All I know is I didn't get my M verse.
Yeah,
So
I could see that.
if that stuff is true, that makes this story make a lot more sense than two niggas from the same camp that are just going through this.
I don't see that making
Like
sense.
50
though.
can squash this,
Nah, that
Dre
makes
can
total
squash
sense.
this, somebody can squash this.
I don't think that Snoop's request never made it to M.
Oh no,
No, I don't
saying,
believe- I don't
thought you were
believe that
saying
at
that that wouldn't be
Good
a
cop-
reason why this would happen.
But don't say that. Don't just be so dismissive of that. Good cop, bad cop is a thing in the industry.
Absolutely,
for
But
sure.
I
So
just,
then you can't. If that's the thing, you can't dismiss it. That could be the plan. You good cop. I mean, you bad cop. I'm good cop. The verse never got to me. The request never got to
think
me.
that- I
Even
think
if that
that-
you can't prove it.
I think
Yeah.
that holds true for most artists, but somebody directly associated that close to M, Dre, that
And it's
whole
Snoop.
yeah, and it's Snoop. I don't see a
Which
request.
tells me that he probably didn't double text.
True.
It is Snoop.
True.
So I can see him making a request however he made it.
And then,
It not being followed up on, and it just falling by the wayside, and Snoop never getting his verse.
that does happen sometimes.
That
where,
happens
like,
all the time.
Yeah,
I
like,
totally understand that.
yeah.
But in that optic, this
Like, yo, I
story
shouldn't
makes
have
a
to hit-
lot
I shouldn't
more
have
sense.
to hit you twice. I'm me.
And I shouldn't have to. Fam, I'm Snoop. I'm asking for a verse. That should be the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me my verse.
True.
I don't care if that's through Paul, that's through Tracy, whoever is over there, Shady.
Yeah.
I want my verse.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's a reasonable.
I get it.
I get it. Yeah, that's very reasonable.
Still, this is not the beef
Which
that
is
I want
why
to
I
see
get-
in
That's why I get
2021.
M's tone thing. It's the same way. It's family. You can speak about me in a better tone. So
Call-
I totally understand.
If you have
why
a
M's
problem with
talking
my
about
tone, man, call my phone and tell me you have a problem with my tone. Doing an interview where you publicly say you have a problem with the tone, it just comes off away is all I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't have a problem with the tone, but in 2021, the fucking tone police is what we doing.
Yeah.
I'm in no way ever been the person that's like, if you do something in public to me, make sure the apology's public. I've never lived that way, but I do understand people do live that way. So
Make
if
sure
M
the
wants to
apology
publicly
is
reply
as
to something
loud
that
as the
Snoop said
offense.
Publicly, I get it.
This
I get
is
it.
the last beef that I want to see
Same.
or
No,
hear.
I don't want to see the two of them.
Hey,
They're two
speaking
legends.
of
They're
beefs,
from, again, the same camp. Like, I don't ever want to see M and Snoop beef.